Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Today we're going to be examining a deck that uses two different types of Kingdras. One of them is going to be the Kingdra from the Primal Clash set. So this one has the Alpha Growth ability, and this one is usually the more powerful of the two attackers. So this one has the Dragon Blast attack, which can hit for up to 150 damage. However, it is a little bit energetically expensive. Alpha Growth does help though, in that we can attach up to two energy cards to our Kingdra in any given turn. Now, the one thing about Dragon Blast, and this is actually what gives this Kingdra synergy with the Plasma Freeze Kingdra, Dragon Blast forces us to discard a Water and a Lightning energy card attached to this Pokemon for us to be able to attack. Now, the really nice thing is that this other Kingdra's Dragon Vortex attack is able to hit for up to 20 damage times the number of water or lightning energy cards in our discard pile. So that's pretty powerful. I mean, just naturally speaking, there's a lot of synergy because we are going to get a lot of energy cards in our discard pile through the usage of the other Kingdra's attack, and then Dragon Vortex is going to be able to dish out a whole lot more damage. The other really nice thing about this attack is that it's an energy recycling mechanism sort of attack in itself. So by using this attack, we reshuffle all of the energy cards from our discard pile back into our deck, and then we can attach them to our Kingdra with the Alpha Growth ability all over again, for example. Pretty nice. These are usually going to be the main two attackers of our deck. We do have another one, however. That one is going to be the Miltank with the powerful Friend attack. Can hit for up to 80 damage for a single energy. Muscle Band, that's 100 damage. Pretty powerful. Usually the Pokemon that we want out in as sort of the main attacker of our deck, at least until we can set up our line of attackers. So we are running a total of 2 copies of the Miltank, and the very last potential attacker that we have is going to be the Empoleon. Empoleon is there for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's a very solid attacker. Attack command can usually hit for a lot of damage, has a 140 HP as well, pretty good. The other thing is that the Diving Draw ability will come in handy with respects to allowing us to discard energy cards and then ultimately allowing us to hit for more damage using the Plasma Freeze Kingdra's attack. However, of course, if we don't want to discard any energy cards or we just happen to not have any in our hand, we can also repeatedly use the Execute's Propagation ability to retreat it from our discard pile, put it into our hand, and then we can repeatedly discard it using the Diving Draw ability. So that's pretty cool. We are running a single Execute in our deck as well. However, as you guys can see, we're not running any Prinplups or the Piplups, so Empoleon is usually going to come out at play using the Archie's Ace in the Hole card. We're only running a single copy of this card. We tend to bring out the Empoleon pretty consistently with the deck that we are running because we have cards such as Ultra Ball, things like that. So Archie's Ace in the Hole is pretty useful. One of the methods that we can use to grab onto the Archie's Ace in the Hole is through the usage of the Jirachi EX's Stellar Guidance ability. Jirachi EX is very, very useful just with respects to allowing us to grab that Archie's Ace in the Hole, because for example we can use the Ultra Ball, grab the Jirachi EX, and then we can look for the Archie's Ace in the Hole. So we are running a single Jirachi EX in our deck. The very last Pokemon in our deck is the Mr. Mime with the Bench Barrier ability. This allows us to prevent all damage done to our bench Pokemon by any of our opponent's attacks. So the reason that this Pokemon is so important is because a lot of our Pokemon don't have a whole ton of HP, and it does take us a little bit of time to set up. Namely speaking, our Horseys and our Seadras are relatively easy targets to get knocked out by Pokemon such as the Landorus EX. So we are running a single copy of the Mr. Mime in our deck as well. So that's pretty much all of the Pokemon, guys. Let's take a look at some of the item cards. One of the most important item cards that we are running in our deck is the Battle Compressor. This has a twofold purpose. One of them is to get our Empoleons and our Executes into the discard pile so that we can make use of that Archie's Ace in the Hole. The other purpose of it is so that we can get energy cards in our discard pile, and then that Kingdra with the Dragon Vortex attack can hit for a ton more damage. So it's a very nice card. We are running 2 copies of this in our deck. I wish we could run a couple more, but I feel like we have a relatively tight-fitting deck. You guys can sort of play around with the cards that we have. I mean, you guys may want to scrap out the entire Empoleon line, for example, and include a couple more Battle Compressors. Wouldn't really recommend it, though. I feel like Empoleon is a major help, but just giving you guys my thoughts out there. Battle Compressor is just a very nice card. We're going to stick to a mere 2 copies, though, in our case. Some other cards we are running, the Computer Search as the Ace Pack. Mainly, this is to allow us to make use of that Archie's Ace in the Hole. I mean, it could also be used to just accelerate the setup of our Pokemon, which is pretty important as well. So we are running this as our Ace Pack card. We're also running 3 copies of the rare candy. You guys know what this card is all about. Just to try and skip that Kingdra evolution stage, so that we can evolve our horses into the Kingdras right away. So we are running a total of 3 copies of the rare candy in our deck. We're also running a single copy of the Starling Megaphone. This allows us to discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to each of our opponent's Pokemon. Mainly, this is to allow us to deal with Garbodor so that we can repeatedly use our Empoleon special ability, our Propagation, the Jirachi EX, the Mr. Mime. So we have quite a few Pokemon with special abilities. So Starling Megaphone is a pretty useful card. We are running a single copy of this in our deck. And that's pretty much most of the cards that I felt were worthwhile to mention. The other cards we're going to be going through very quickly. I will, however, be taking a look at the Training Center Stadium card first. So this allows our Stage 1 and Stage 2 Pokemon in play to get an additional 30 HP. This is a pretty nice card because it can, I mean, when you think about it, it can bring the Empoleon and our Kingdras nearly at the same level of an EX Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. And the really nice thing, of course, is that if any of our non-EX Pokemon get knocked out, our opponent only takes a single prize card. So that's pretty cool. We will be running 2 copies of the Training Center in our deck. I feel like, again, this is a pretty worthwhile card. I would recommend you guys run it just because it serves as both a counter stadium card and it increases the overall HP of each of our Pokemon. So with that, let's take a very quick look at some of the remaining cards. So we have a single switch card to allow us to switch in between our Pokemon, 3 Ultra Balls, 2 VS Seekers to reuse the supporter type cards, the Archie's Ace in the Hole, which I have discussed, a total of 9 other draw supported cards, one of them being the Colress, 4 of them being the Ends, and 4 being the Professor Junipers. We are running a total of 2 copies of the Lysander to lure out any of our opponent's bench Pokemon and a single Lysander Trump card. 1 Teammates as well, another very useful card. A total of 11 energy cards, 8 of them being water energies, 3 lightning, and 3 total muscle bands. So with that, we are going to see what this deck is capable of. Haven't played a whole lot of games with it, but it does seem to be performing quite well. So let's see what type of deck we will be encountering this time around. So it looks like we're facing a water and steel type deck. I'm assuming it's most likely going to be water based. Oh, okay, so no, it looks like it's going to be a steel based deck mainly. So right, so let's see how this battle is going to end up. I could potentially bring out the Empoleon turn 1. I mean, if I discard the Empoleon and a water energy card, set down the Training Center, the Muscle Band, and the water energy. Okay, so we have 2 Empoleons in our hand. Maybe I can't anymore. So let's see what our next card is. I am hoping to bring out the Archie's Ace in the Hole, though. If I could, nice and early, that would be incredible. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can bring it out just yet. But I will be discarding the 2 Empoleons from our hand, so let's go and get rid of them and then look for the end card. Don't want to be discarding too many of the useful cards in our hand. Not going to be loading up that Horsey. I'm assuming it's probably going to get knocked out during our next turn, or at least take a very heavy hit. So let's go and use the N for the time being. And okay, so we have a Miltank, a Mr. Mime. Don't really think we should set it down just yet, so let's go and use the Starling Megaphone and then unfortunately end our turn. Maybe I should have actually attached the water energy to our Horsey and then used the bubble attack, potentially having prevented our opponent's Cobalion EX from attacking us. Unfortunately though, it looks like that was not the move that I decided to do, so we're going to take a little bit of damage. Horsey should hopefully be able to survive this hit, and maybe if we're able to draw onto another supporter card, we may just be able to bring out one of our Kingdras as well. Don't really want the rare candy though, because I mean this Kingdra is just easily going to get knocked out. That Cobalion EX is almost at the verge of using its Steel Bullet attack, so that wouldn't really be the wisest choice. Our opponent has used the Ultra Ball and grabbed out that H/EX, and he's also looking for 2 Pokemon using the Pokemon Fan Club. Okay, so it looks like the Bronzors are going to start coming out, and then our opponent is going to see that energy retrieval through the usage of Bronzor's attack. Okay, so I do have the Seadra, but unfortunately I can't use the Smoke Screen attack just yet. I really wish I had attached that energy card to our Horsey, but let's go and bring out the Mr. Mime, guys. I don't really think any of our opponent's Pokemon will be able to snipe our bench Pokemon, but I feel like that's the Pokemon I'd like to bring out once our Horsey does get knocked out. Don't want to be bringing out a Miltank just yet. Could be a very useful and powerful attacker. So we are seeing that Bronzong come out, but no energy cards in our opponent's discard pile just yet, so he doesn't have that energy acceleration. Okay, so we have the Ultra Ball, and we have 2 of our Empoleons in our discard pile. Okay, so now all I need is that Jirachi EX, and then we should be able to use that Archie's Ace in the Hole. So we'll be discarding the Seadra and the Kingdra, Again, looking for the Jirachi X. I will see though if we have that Archie's Ace in the hole. Just want to make sure. Really hoping that we do have it. And do we? And no, I think it may be prized. Really hoping that. Oh my goodness, it is prized. So that's pretty unfortunate, guys. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to grab onto the Jirachi EX regardless. Really need it. So I'll actually be grabbing onto the N. Don't want to be wasting our muscle bands on these two Pokemon just yet. So let's go and bring out that Jirachi EX. Look for that N. Again, unfortunately, we had the opportunity of bringing out that Archie's Ace in the hole, but it happens to be prized. And yeah, so that's pretty unfortunate. Let's go and use the N for some new cards in our hand. Bring out that Horsey, attach a Water Energy card to our Miltank for now. And then we have to go and end our turn once again. Hoping that our opponent's Cobalion EX can't knock us out just yet. He would need another energy card, but again, we did just use the N, so I'm thinking most likely our opponent will be able to bring out another energy card. Okay, so the Battle Compressor is going to come out. Of course, the Bronzong's Metal Links will allow our opponent to look for those discarded Metal Energies and load up his bench Pokemon. Luckily, though, it's not applicable to our opponent's active Pokemon, so maybe that Cobalion EX can't use its second attack just yet. Hopefully I can get rid of that Bronzong, because of course that will allow Pokemon such as the Dialga EX and the Aegislash EX to hit for those big knockouts. Looks like the opponent has decided to Lysander out our Miltank. Not really sure why he didn't use the Metal Link's ability. I mean, he had quite a few Steel Energies in the discard pile. Again, I'm a little bit confused, but that's okay. I'm not particularly going to complain. Not going to lay down the Training Center just yet as well. We'll be using the Colress to get a total of 8 new cards in our hand. Okay, so we have a Seadra. Unfortunately, no Battle Compressor. So let's go and bring out the Seadra. For the time being, attach a Water Energy card to him. And then hit our opponent's Cobalion EX for 10 damage. That's not really going to make that big of an impact. Unless we're able to bring out the Kingdra, attach 2 energy cards for 2 energy cards on it. And use the Muscle Band attachment. But okay, so it looks like the opponent has used the N. I don't think we're going to be able to bring out our Kingdra just yet, guys, but you never know. So we don't have the, you know what, actually I think we can bring out the Kingdra, because I can use the Battle Compressor to put the teammate's card in the discard pile, and then I can go and use a DVS Seeker. So let's go and get rid of that Execute and the teammate's card as well. So now we will be using DVS Seeker, look for the teammates, use it to look for the Kingdra and the Muscle Band, and that should allow us to hit for just enough damage to get rid of our opponent's active Cobalion EX. So let's go and bring out that Kingdra first, because if I attach the energy too early, then we would not have been able to make use of the Alpha Growth. So let's go and attach the Water Energy card and the Lightning Energy, the Muscle Band, and get that massive knockout on our opponent's Cobalion EX, and then draw onto 2 prize cards. So while it may have seemed like the Miltank's attack was trivial, it contributed to us getting that big knockout, so I'm quite thankful for that. I'm not sure which Pokemon our opponent is going to bring out, but it should not be able to knock out our Kingdra just yet, unless our opponent has the Switch card and is able to load up the Pokemon enough to get a big knockout on it. So the Dialga EX is starting to look a little bit menacing. It is slowly getting powered up. Can't use its full Metal Impact attack just yet, so I'm happy for that. Our Kingdra should be able to survive at the very least another turn, but looks like the tides are in our opponent's favor. So let's go and bring out the Miltank for now. The Training Center, we'll be using the Ultra Ball to discard the Juniper and the Rare Candy from our hand. Grab onto the Horsey. I do want to take a look. Okay, so I do have another Rare Candy, and I may have to eventually resort to using the VS Seeker, sorry, the Lysander, but not just yet. So let's go and bring out that Horsey. Juniper for some new cards in our hand, and we don't have enough to attack with this Kingdra just yet. This Kingdra would have been great though, potentially hitting our opponent's Cobalion for a lot of damage. I will, however, simply be switching into the Miltank and then hitting our opponent for 80 damage using the Powerful Friends attack. Not enough to knock it out, but still, that damage is going to add up over time, and then potentially this Kingdra could use the Tri-Bullet to knock out any of our opponent's bench Pokemon that have low HP. Of course, in case our opponent decides to retreat that Cobalion, so that's always a viable option. We only have 3 energy cards in our discard pile, so the Dragon Vortex attack would not be doing all that much damage just yet. The opponent is going to use the Colress for some new cards at hand. Hoping that our opponent does not have a switch. And we are seeing DVS Seeker come out once again. So a Lysander. Again, the opponent has used the Colress though, so he can't Lysander out any of our Pokemon just yet. Looks like he is going to try and get rid of our Kingdra though. So let's go and evolve into this Kingdra. I'm not going to attach any energy cards just because I do know that our opponent has the Lysander and of course that Dialga EX can use the Full Metal Impact attack to possibly knock out this Kingdra or D1, the Primal Clash or the Plasma Freeze one. So let's hold on to that energy card for the time being. Let's use Powerful Friends, knock out our opponent's Copalion, and then finally draw into the Archie's Ace in the hole. But at this point right now, it's kind of useless. I mean, unless I can somehow get rid of that rare candy from our hand. We are seeing the Starling Megaphone come out, the Lysander. So it looks like our opponent is deciding to prioritize on the Primal Clash Kingdra. So let's go and bring out this Kingdra right here. And okay, so we have the Juniper. I think I'm going to lay it down, guys. So let's go and attach the Lightning Energy, the Muscle Band. And how many energy cards do I have in the discard pile? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Only able to hit for 100 damage right now. Maybe I should have brought out the Miltank. I may actually retreat this Kingdra, but let's see what we have. Okay, so Battle Compressor. Let me see. So 4 energy cards. Again, 100 damage. 160 will be 20 damage short from getting rid of our opponent's Dialga EX. I mean, I don't think our opponent has another Lysander. I'm really hoping he doesn't. I'm not sure if I'm willing to take the risk, guys. You know what? Let's go and attack with this Kingdra anyway. So let's go and use the Battle Compressor, get a couple of our energy cards into the discard pile, hit him for 160 damage, and then I can use the Lysander and attack with the Miltank regardless with the Powerful Friends attack. So hopefully that should be enough. I mean, our opponent's Dialga EX may not even be able to use its second attack because it does need 2 more energy cards for him to be able to use the Full Metal Impact attack. Again, I didn't want to retreat in case we got Lysandered out again, of course, because that means that the Miltank would then have only been able to hit for 10 damage, and that Dialga EX would have been just safe from harm's way. So, hoping that I made the right choice, guys. Again, I'm not entirely sure if it was the right sort of move. Opponent is going to bring out another Dialga EX, that Energy Acceleration. Already loading up that Dialga EX. I don't know if that was... Okay, so our opponent is going to retreat. That's okay, though. We do have the Lysander, so I can still get rid of that bench Dialga EX. So I'll most likely be Lysandering it out. It is an incredibly tight game at the moment, though. That Dialga EX is looking pretty menacing. I'm not going to lie. Kingdra, thank goodness, was able to survive with a mere 20 HP. That training center just saved our life, guys. I actually... forgot about it because I didn't realize that our opponent's active Dialga EX had the Muscle Band attached to it. Okay, so now I can Lysander out one of our opponent's Pokemon and then use the Tri-Bullet to slowly start sniping away at each of our opponent's Pokemon. I think that is what I'm going to do, guys. So, yeah, so let's actually bring out a Bronzong for the time being. Attach a Water Energy card to our Kingdra. And, yeah, so let's go and use the Tri-Bullet attack. Knock out our opponent's Kingdra EX. Dialga EX, and then hit each of those Bronzongs for a little bit of damage. So hopefully this will allow us to win, guys. It is a very tight game. Again, could go either way, but okay. So it looks like the opponent has quit. I felt like we were going to win, though, guys. So yeah. So this is the deck. I feel like it performs pretty well. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.